Greetings, everyone. It is day 38 of my 90-day challenge. Oh, happy Wednesday. Hope you all are doing well today. And once again, today is a very special day. It is my son's 16th birthday, my eldest son. And yeah, we're doing our very best to celebrate his birthday with kind of without him, right? So yeah, definitely we'll get into that depending on how the stream goes. But yeah, hope you all had a wonderful Wednesday. Hopefully you guys are doing well on your perspective challenges. um, Today was kind of a off day for myself. This week has been quite a challenging week as well. But yeah, today, well, once again, it's my son's birthday, so we're kind of celebrating the birthday without him, right? So with him, and at the same time without him. So I mean, as of now, he stays in his room, right, for majority of the day, every day, right, and yeah, he only comes out like at 2 a.m., right? When we're all sleeping, right? So yeah, one thing we just, celebrating his birthday, we definitely left some cake and some presents on the kitchen table. Hopefully he likes it and, takes it. But, it is a quite a challenging time. And once again, it's definitely easy. Well, like myself, even today, right? It's easy to get back into habits, get in at least, as for myself, emotional eating, right? And this is probably why I'm in this state of wanting to turn my health around, right? Because, emotional eating has been, one of my, comforts during the pandemic last year, just to deal with the many stress and challenges. And we have that, it happens every day. It's just how we deal with it, how we reflect with it rather than react. We try to reflect more than we react to stressful situations, challenging situations, right? So food was my comfort food, my comfort, right, during the challenging time, right? If you guys have not know, my son has, first 6 weeks of switching to from middle school to high school. Yeah, he unfortunately got bullied and definitely was detrimental to his health back in October 24. So he hasn't returned to. Well, actually, he got transferred to another school to deal with kids with high anxiety and uh, depression, and just unable to deal with bigger crowds. So he, has been transferred to another school. It's funny, he's the one who has to leave, not the bullies, but it's better to deal with one than many, right? So yeah, I mean, even though that has happened, he has, uh, he only tried a few times in that new school and has not returned and has not done homeschooling as well. So we had him out a little bit last in the summer, I believe, or closer to spring. But he slowly has returned back into his habits of locking himself in the room and only coming out for at at midnight at 2 a.m. to restock his food supplies and get rid of his waste. And he doesn't, yeah, we only have one washroom in our in our house or in our floor, right? And he doesn't use that, so he just he does his his business with bottles and yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, once again, it's a tough, it's a tough way to celebrate, and being parents, you guys understand, right? Not being able to fully support your children, it's tough, right? So it's been really challenging for my wife these last few weeks because he stopped eat he's cooking food for himself, but I mean at the same time it's the same food over and over again, right? So you're not getting that variety of nutritional needs met. But yeah, he definitely stopped eating the food that my wife makes and the food that we bring home for him. So it definitely has caused for a lot of concerns for her. And once again, a mother's bond to their child is very strong, and it does hurt her a lot, and it hurts me as well, right? To not just not being able to see your child, right? So once again, today's kind of an off day for myself mentally and physically, and I joke around with my people on my Twitch stream. I was like, oh guys, I started drinking again, right? So and definitely not to what you guys think, but I don't drink alcohol, so I started for now Diet Coke. But it's no sugar, but at the same time, the caffeine's in there, so that's gonna affect my deep sleep, my delta wave sleep, right? So yeah, today's definitely a one off. I'm still around 199, so just about 15 pounds, right? So kind of put on point four, I guess, half a pound. But I mean, at this point, it's definitely not getting back into it. It's just once again, it's celebrating this day with my son, or I mean, celebrating this birthday, my son's birthday, just not with him physically, right? So just a piece of door separates us two, right? So yeah, I mean, like I said, he's definitely he prefers solitude, and he prefers um doesn't want to compromise his his set of beliefs, and all I can do is just stay healthy as much as I can, and just be ready to support him when he discovers what he wants out of life, right? And just have to be ready as a parent to help him on his his road, whether it's recovery or his road towards his dreams. That's all we can do is just be healthy enough to just support them as long as we can, right? While we still have a life, we have breath, and most importantly, yeah, our health, right? So that's the only thing we can do. Once again, what is the reason for you to be healthy? And that is my reason, right? And I just have once again, it's my fuel, and you have to realize what's your fuel to what's really important for you to address your health, right? It's not enough to just say, oh, I want to lose 15 pounds, I want to lose 50, right? 15 or 50 pounds, those last 10 pounds, right? It's, you need to put meaning to it. You need to put your heart, your spirit into it, right? With, I want to lose these 15 pounds because I want to be there. And this was my original, when I did this in 2013. This was my original, motivation to go from 216 back in 2013, 216 down to almost close as 150. Just when the pandemic hit, right? So August of 2020, I got as close to 152, just 2 pounds away from my goal, right? So I'm hoping this time around I finally hit it, right? But what stopped me then was because I had a major injury during my training, and I was training for a marathon, right? So a 42-kilometer marathon, my fifth marathon in my life, right? So I hired a coach, right? And I really wanted to finally have a significant strong personal best. I didn't want to just get by, right? I just made it under 4 minutes, right? I just survived to me. I really want to own it this time, and that's why I was training hard during the pandemic, or until the major injury happened, and then I just got into a mind game, and which led to emotional eating and dealing with stress, and then going back from 152 up to as close as, yeah, I started this last year at 224, right? So I put up like 74 pounds or 72 pounds, right? From the start of pandemic, right? And it's so easy to get in some mind games. That's why, I wanted to have a healthy, mentally strong, well, when I thought I was mentally strong. So definitely looked up through, meditations on YouTube. That definitely landed to, something called Mind Valley, and became a licensed holistic coach with Hollow Body as one of their programs, right? And it definitely has got me through a lot of things, and that is pretty much what um, I'm coaching right now, right? So, but definitely addressing nutrition is definitely a foundational start. When 70% of your health is through the food that you put in yourself, the fuel that you put in yourself. Why not, why focus on a 30%, which we try to address it with exercise. And the saying goes, you can't outrun, you can't work out what you eat, right? It does take a small amount of fuel to fuel your activities, but if you eat more than you burn, and that's always going to be the case, right? As much exercise you can do, right? If you don't put the right fuel, most importantly, the right fuel in your body, and if you continue to overeat, because the food that we eat, right, whether it's from a restaurant, fast food, comes from a box, comes from a package with words that we can pronounce, right, ingredients, then what, not you're hungry because you're not getting all the nutritions that you are requiring, right? So that's the thing, it's very important to focus on your nutrition, and eat right, so that your body can recognize that it does not feel hunger that much, because everything's topped up, all the nutrients that you need is topped up, right? So definitely, once again, that was my fuel, because I wanted to be healthy, because I wanted to be there for my kids' graduation. Looking at my second child, my newborn at 2013, and at the point at 216, I wasn't feeling healthy under my skin. I wasn't feeling great under my skin, and definitely, some, my youngest son was born with certain things, right? And I felt responsible for not looking after. I put in my weight, right, on my shoulder, feeling that I passed on these terrible genes to my second child, right? And that just I just wanted to be healthy because I wanted to set example. I wanted to, most importantly, I wanted to be there for the graduation. Right? I did not think I was gonna make it to the graduation. That's once again, that's it's easy to it's if people laugh or whatnot, think that mental health is not a thing, like our generation, right? Because we had to tough it out. That's the only way we were going to survive, right? Tough it out, deal with the challenges ahead of us, and now it's a different era. I can only imagine what my kids go through, especially with everything being recorded on phones, social media, how fast words spread, right? So we can only imagine what our youth are going today and what the standards that they have to meet nowadays, right? And it's tough. It's a rough lifestyle, and even though they would love to say that these kids are soft, they're lazy, and once again, same thing. What our parents would say to us, because how many of us dealt with wars, right? How many of us dealt with you know uh, uh, serious pandemics and whatnot, right? So always, the generation before us will always say, these kids are soft, right? Would say that how we dealt with depression, with the um, um, World War I, World War II, the Great Depressions, how would we have dealt, since we kind of live in a world of abundance now, depending where you're situated. It's each generation, is soft than the next, right? It's only how we be able to, you know, pass on, our knowledge and wisdom and great and wonderful healthy habits is, very important for that. But with being surrounded with social media and advertising, it's so easy to just go for comfort and convenience, which is not convenient for our bodies, right? And that's unfortunately the sad truth that quick and easy fix not always means the healthy and right choice fix, right? So yeah, I really don't want this conversation to go into mm, doom and gloom, right? It is what it is, all right. And we, as a family, as parents, we do our very best to just work it out together and get through the challenges and whatnot. It's just there's always going to be an off day, so it's just how fast we can get back on track. And after today, once again, we just celebrating our son's birthday without him, um, and it's just we'll just get back on track and be healthy, uh, eat right, have our nutrients, daily nutrients being met, right? And whenever he's ready to, come out and rejoin us and, rejoin society and follow his goals and dreams, right? We had to be ready for that day to come, right? So I would love to believe that this is only temporary, and that and whatever he decides to choose to do with his life, we can only support him on that those choices. Once again, he's gonna make mistakes, and we can't, as parents, we should not beat them over those choices. That's gonna be a learning experience. All we can do is guide them towards their possible solutions, right? Guide them through that. This is just a temporary setback, and what, you're gonna have to live each day anyway. So how can we get you back on track, and discover what you feel is the right path, or what alterations and detours that you need to get back on the right track again, right? So that's all we can do, is to guide them, not to lecture them, or provide an easy fix for them. It's just definitely very important for us to make sure that that they're you know to learn things on their own, and at the same time have the right energy and physical health to help guide them, and follow their dreams, and push through and persevere through their goals and dreams. Once again, thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you to my followers on Twitch, and friends and families who've reached out and support. It means a lot for me and my wife, my family, and we definitely, we just, we just try to take it one day at a time, and support each other, love each other, and just hope tomorrow's a better day, and just continue to the grind, and stay healthy as much as possible, and be better each day. So that's all we can definitely ask for, and strive for. All right. Well, once again, this is being streamed on 3 different platforms, on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Feel free to follow and subscribe. Hit those notification buttons to be updated when I go live. I try my very best for this first challenge, this first 90-day challenge, to stream every day, and stream in the evening for these this wrap up challenge, right? Every night, to just share with you my day. And once again, I try to be honest as much as possible. Once again, today is off day, just to celebrate with my son, and celebrate with each other, right? And I know that the last 2 days haven't been perfect, but what's important is just get back on track, right? And this may affect me for the next 5 days, but at the same time, that's all you can do. These 5 days will lead into the next 5 days, right? So you gotta just what you do today improves life 5 days from now. What you do tomorrow will improve 5 days from now. So you're building up for your future, right? So focusing on the now will help make the future a lot easier. All right. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Really appreciate it. Once again, as always, continue to raise your environment, so that you're able to raise yourself and become a better version of yourself, so that you can be the impact in your own environment, your friends, your families, your colleagues, your own community, right? So, a simple smile, a wonderful gesture, a simple phone call towards someone you haven't talked to for a long while, you know, will be, be the trigger, will be the ignition for them to, pay it forward as well. That they are seen, that they matter, that they're remembered, and that, who's the last person that they've talked to. So, you pay it forward, creates that trend, creates that ripple for them to pay it forward to other people's. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you everyone for the wonderful birthday wishes for my son Trevor. And yes, let's just continue to pray and send some love his way, and hopefully, he discovers his passion in life, his sense of belonging, and hopefully he finds his tribe, his hive as well. So all you can do is support him and help him through that journey. And thank you to my followers on Twitch. Thank you so much, Dateline, for the kind words and your support and shoulder to lean on each and every night. Right? Thank you so much. And I wish you all a wonderful rest of your evening and the rest of your week. Hope to catch you again tomorrow. Take good care.